Hi Gemini, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your December 2021 love reading. Thank you to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's what I call the bridge and the gap spread. And the way it works is we'll look at the past energies, present energies, and future energies between you and your main love interest. Once we get through all that, we'll pull some oracle cards for some additional insight. That's where the bridge and the gap dynamic comes into play. As far as the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, on the right side we have the Tarot Sexual Magic. And also keep in mind it's a general reading, so I'm going to be referring to the cards on the left as your energy and the cards on the right as the other person's. If you feel like it's the other way around in your situation, then definitely trust that. Alright, so with all that out of the way, we'll get started. Past energy on your side, we have the Eight of Arrows. So this is actually Gemini energy here, and it could just be saying that you might have felt a bit overwhelmed and didn't necessarily know how to move forward. Now, obviously this could be related to the connection directly, but I feel like this could even just be saying that you had a lot of other things going on in your life at the time that really you couldn't even, if we look, she's not even looking in that direction, right? So for some of you, just could just be saying that you had so many things going on in your life that you weren't even really able to acknowledge the connection in the past, but that's what I'm seeing there. All right, and past energy on their side, we have the Knave of Wands, which is the equivalent of the Page of Wands, and the Chariot, which is Cancer energy. So this could just be saying that they actually might have saw a lot of promise and potential in the connection, and I also feel like most likely they were the initiators in the situation as well. But if we look at the artwork here too, it almost looks like she's sleeping, right? And with her back turned to him too. So similar to where we were talking about, she's not even looking at the connection. So it could just be saying that they did try to get things off the ground with you, but for whatever reason, like I said, probably not even directly related to the connection. It looks like you just weren't necessarily in the headspace to actually move forward in the connection in the past. All right. Present position on your side, we have Fortune, which is the Wheel of Fortune, that's Jupiter energy. And we have Princess of Staves, which is the equivalent of the Page of Wands. So they had the Page of Wands in the past, you have it in the present. But this could just be saying that at the very least you're now ready to move, you're ready to take motion. So maybe things have moved in your favor a bit more with the Fortune energy. So, for example, Jupiter started its direct motion not too long ago, so it could just be pointing to that. Maybe during that cycle, it could have been hitting some stuff in your chart and slowing things down for you. But yeah, looks like at the very least energetically you're ready to move now. But interestingly enough, if we look at the body language there, the horse is moving away from the cards on the side again. But she is looking over her shoulder too. So it could just be saying that there's a lot of things that you've needed to tackle. So at least in the present, you might actually be moving toward taking care of those things, but still not necessarily maybe have the time for this connection. So it could be one of those things where if you were in some kind of a funk because you just had a lot of things going on in your life, you might be coming out of that now, but realizing, okay, I need to take care of these things and maybe almost rushing to it, right? Because you're like, okay, once I get through these things, I'll be ready to reconnect with this person. So that could be how it's coming across for some of you. And then for others of you, could still be pointing to, for whatever reason, you might actually still be running from this connection. All right, present energy on their side, we have the Knight of Chalices. So this is the equivalent of the Knight of Cups, which is Pisces energy. And could just be saying that they might come forward to you and express their feelings in a bit more of a romantic way. So it could just be one of those things where they're not sure what the issue was in the past, right, with you not communicating with them. So they might just think, all right, well, maybe it was my approach, right? So they could be coming back with a different approach this time around to see if you're open and receptive. And I will say, interestingly enough, in the artwork here too, I was mentioning how it looks like she was asleep there, and now we do see that she's at least awake, right? So kind of mirrors what we see on your side as far as it looks like you're coming out of that slump that you guys might have been in. But I'm still not sure if there's going to be a direct connection between you, although I do see them putting an effort toward that. All right. Future energy on your side, we have the Three of Coins. So this is Capricorn energy here. And usually it represents a collaborative effort. But in this deck, there's a lot of couples in the deck, of course, because it is a love deck. But here, it always stands out to me that in traditional tarot, we usually see a collaborative effort with the Three of Coins. But here, we actually see that she's alone. And on top of that, if you look at her facial expression, she doesn't necessarily look too happy either, you know? So for some of you, it could just be as simple as maybe this was a financial thing, right? So maybe you're like, okay, I have to take care of my finances now. You take care of your finances, you get them on track, but then you might realize that you might have missed an opportunity with this connection, right? So just something to be mindful of there, especially it wouldn't surprise me if that's a theme that comes up for you guys in a certain way as far as we're going to have Venus retrograde in December, and it's going to be in Capricorn. So it could just be one of those things where a lot of people collectively are going to be looking at their relationship to money, right? Their career and their goals, right? And is it really fulfilling in the way that they want it to be? So it could just be as simple as that, right? Where you end up thinking, oh, I have to take care of my finances, I have to reach this goal, and you go after the finances and realize, oh, wait, I might have missed an opportunity at love in the process, right? Because Venus can speak to both finances and to love. So that could be how it's playing out for some of you. All right. And future energy on their side, we have a few cards. We have the King of Swords, which is Aquarius energy, the Magician, and the Six of Pentacles. This is Taurus energy. So, interestingly enough, we have a couple of fixed energies here with the Aquarius and then the Taurus. And in the middle of that, we have the Magician. So, really, if I'm looking at these cards and just looking at a story between the three of them, it could just be saying that they might detach for a bit in the future. But I feel like that's really going to be where they're going to try to figure out what the next approach could be. And with that said, it looks like they will attempt to come in again and attempt to restore balance. Now, some of you might take a while too, because this is Taurus energy, so it might be one of those things where it might even take until the spring. But for the majority of you, I don't necessarily feel like that's what it's pointing to. It's just more of, again, I feel like they're trying different approaches. Like they might be looking at themselves and saying, okay, well, is it the way I'm coming across, right? So interestingly enough, despite you guys being Gemini energy, it looks like there's not much communication coming from your side. And I mean, I got to give this person credit. It does look like they're being pretty persistent, but it definitely looks like there needs to be some communication between the two of you for sure. And at least in this spread, it looks like it might be lacking a bit. But we'll see what the Oracle cards add to the mix a little later. Bottom of the deck on your side, we have the Six of Cups. So this is an energy that often does point to reconciliation. So, I mean, for some of you, this can be a reconnection that comes down at some point. Like I said, it does look like you do get re-energized, but I didn't necessarily see that you'd be re-energized and moving back toward the connection. So, I don't know, maybe for some of you will. At the very least, this could represent a desire to do so, right? It always stands out to me with this deck in particular, too, how we see the Four Cups on one side of the water and then the two of them with the two cups. So that almost makes you think of the Four of Cups energy, which could be saying that you guys might have spent some time apart, right? Maybe even receiving new love offers in the process and realizing that, yeah, you know what, this isn't necessarily, you know, a good fit for me either. So that might actually help you appreciate the person from the past. So that could be how the energy might play out for some of you. And the bottom of the deck on their side, we have the Four of Pentacles. So usually the Four of Pentacles in traditional tarot, for example, looks like a very closed off energy, right? But here we do see it looks like he's making an attempt, but he's almost a bit cautious about that attempt, right? So I feel like this is more pointing to them feeling your energy, which, you know, they don't necessarily know how to approach you, right? And like I said, obviously it's like at the very least in the past you were going through something that might have had your energy very guarded, whether you realize that or not. And that could have been something that this person picked up on, but for whatever reason, it does seem like they're actually pretty persistent. But yeah, it could just be saying that there's the passion there, right? We do see the fire in the background, but at the same time, they're not quite sure how to approach you. And that could be why they're trying the different approaches as well. All right, so we'll move on to the Oracle cards now. First, we'll see if we get anything from the Moonlight deck here. I did pre-shuffle this deck before we started recording, and what I'm going to be looking for here is just some jumpers initially, as far as unspoken messages from you to them and then from them to you. And worst case, if nothing comes out, I'll just actually put the deck down and we'll pull cards that way. Oh, almost had one there. And nope, got one here that won't go back in. All right, and next we'll see if we get any from them to you. Alright, so let me actually put the deck down and we'll just pull a card. So give me a few seconds to tune in. Alright, and we'll take this one and get this out of the way. So first we'll see what we have on your side. Okay, we have taken. I'm unavailable. Okay, fair enough. I don't really see an energy of you guys being in another connection. I will say unavailable as far as emotionally unavailable. It does appear to be that way at the very least. But yeah, I guess obviously you guys would know if that's your situation. So I don't know. Maybe that'll resonate for some of you. And then on their side, we have stubborn. Well, I didn't necessarily get the energy of stubborn from this person. I got more persistent than stubborn. But funny enough, I will say for those of you where maybe if you are taken, you might feel like they are stubborn as far as you might have expressed that to them and they might keep making advances toward you. So I guess that's one way it could play out. But I'm not too inclined to feel that that's the case just because the intention of this spread is for your main love interest, right? So if they're your main love interest, then I don't know what to tell you, right? It's like you shouldn't be in that connection if this is your main love interest, but I don't know. A little bit complicated there, but hopefully that resonates with someone out there. And finally, we'll see what we get from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. And same situation as far as I pre-shuffled this deck as well, but I'm actually just going to pull one card here with general advice, and then we'll wrap up. Actually, something else did come to mind too. So once I get this card, I'll address that. So yeah, give me a second. All right, so nothing's coming up anyway. So let me put this deck down for a second and say that there is another way I could see these two things playing out. This can be a Venus retrograde, like typical Venus retrograde type of scenario going on, which is to say you guys might have had this person in the past that you were interested in, and for whatever reason things didn't get off the ground between the two of you. Now you might actually be in a new connection, right? But deep down you might still have those feelings for this person. They might come back around, typical Venus retrograde thing, and you might be like, yeah, sorry, I'm in another relationship. So that is how I could see that playing out for some of you. Again, I still don't necessarily feel like that's the majority, but I could totally see that being the case for at least a few of you out there. So just wanted to say that before it escaped my mind. And now just give me a few seconds to tune in and we'll pull a card from this deck. All right. Yeah, we have not for you. So there's the artwork and the number 6. Definitely an interesting reading for sure. Let's see what this message says. Okay, it says a clear knowing that something is being denied you. Rejection is God's protection. The Oracle's message. There are times when it appears that no matter how deeply you desire something, no matter how hard you work at something, the results you seek always seem to elude you. It is as if you don't really get to be in the game and you feel you're just watching from the sidelines. The appearance of this card indicates that you are not going to attain what you want right now, that indeed your desires for that exact thing will not be fulfilled. This is a time to radically accept that not everything is available to you when you want it. Take heart, for there are benevolent forces who desire the best for you and have a much clearer idea of what's in your highest good. Rejection is God's protection. Something much better that will make you truly happy is on its way. Trust this. So interesting message there. I will say, for those of you who resonated more with the energies on the right side here, that message might fit a little bit better with your situation, but hopefully that resonated either way. And then the relationship message says, some relationships carry an innate seed of failure in them that is obvious from the beginning, but the red flags escape your observation or you refuse to acknowledge them. When a relationship is not meant to be, it's not possible to make it be. Rejection is a sign that you're being protected by the divine. If you are the one who must reject another, remember that you do so for both your sakes. For every pot there is a lid. This one may not be the best fit. So yeah, definitely an interesting message this month. Like I said, it could just be as simple as someone from your past might be coming around and you might be in another connection already, something along those lines, but kind of a weird one, like I said, not gonna lie, but hopefully it resonated with someone out there, and we'll wrap up there, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.